I'm Emily.
And I'm Hannah.
We are best friends and dietitians. We have a goal of challenging nutrition misinformation and fitness trends with an evidence-based approach.
Each episode, we will dish up our thoughts about the latest facts on a popular health-related topic.
We're the Up-Beet Dietitians.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the podcast.
Hello, everyone. Today, we will be discussing a very controversial topic because it's definitely something that's been talked about more, and we want to bring light to this topic because it's so prevalent on social media and whatnot. And I know we've both talked about it before and received a lot of backlash just because it's not very well known at all and people really don't get what it is. So what that topic is, we're going to be talking about body checking today. We're going to be talking about what is body checking. You've probably heard that term used before. It's very popular in the eating disorder world and dysfunctional eating world. And we're also going to be talking about why exactly is it problematic and then how to stop body checking.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. We'll start with what even is this? I mean, it's kind of in the name, but I think when you hear it defined like at a surface level, you don't think of it as a bad thing. So we'll describe why it, like Emily said, is not so great. But to define it, first of all, body checking is quite literally like when you check your body, usually to see how it's changed. This often involves like this compulsive scrutinizing or monitoring or tracking of your body shape, size, or weight. This could literally include like weighing yourself on a daily basis. Like that would be considered body checking. But there's a whole myriad of ways that we might do this behavior of body checking. Like we said, weighing yourself is a really popular, common one to do. Looking at your body in the mirror. Like I used to do this when I was in my gym bro days. Go into the bathroom mirror at the gym, you pull up your shirt, look at your abs, see if they've got any stronger, you do a little flex. Like that is body checking. Taking measurements, kind of like weighing yourself. It's a way to just check the progress of the size or the shape of your body. Maybe you're someone who, like, you're always, when you look in the mirror, like grabbing your belly rolls or like pinching your thighs. Any kind of like, I almost said groping, but that's a terrible word. Any kind of like touching or pinching like that would be considered body checking as well.
Yeah. And these might be things like where you're like, well, I'm just keeping track of what's going on. That's oftentimes what we tell ourselves, but it's that obsessive side of it where it becomes a problem. Like your mood is affected by it. You're constantly checking it. You can't not check it, essentially. And we want to kind of pull away from that. Additionally, some other forms of body checking or what that could look like is putting on a pair of pants to see how they fit. And that's something that, like, once again, it's that like doing it over and over again, like, oh,
Compulsive.
maybe to track my progress sense, and you keep doing it over and over again where it's like becoming a little bit unhealthy. That can be another example of body checking. Staring at certain parts of your body when you walk by a store window, very similar to that looking in the mirror, but now like there's just a different type of reflective surface that we're focusing on and really honing in on one part of our body. Taking progress photos is a huge form of body checking.
Oh my
and
gosh, I did
also a culprit of this.
Yes. Oh God. If you go on my old phones, I bet you could find like a locked folder of all my progress photos.
Yeah. And you put them all in like an album. I'm like, no.
No. Why? I guess we're gonna explain why.
Yeah. I was gonna say, were we gonna post those later?
Right.
Like,
no, like
our little no.
As we'll explain, like you were just doing it to like have this sense of control over our body and like what it's doing for, health purposes.
Yeah. No way.
False sense of control, spoiler alert.
Yes. other things that kind of go along with like taking progress photos are obsessing over past or current
Oh
photos of
my
ourselves. I
gosh.
know we're both also culprits of this as well. Or you're like, oh my gosh, I used to be so much skinnier when I was 12 years old.
What? When you were in fifth grade, when you were half the age you are
Or
now?
like the classic high school, because we all, for some reason, high school is the comparison point because 15 to 18-year olds is like
Peak
peak,
health.
peak health, yes. Even though it's a very large growth period, but peak health.
And your lifestyle is a million times different when you're 16 than it is even when you're like mid 20s like us. I can only imagine like
It's completely different.
when in our 30s or 40s, or if we had kids.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah.
But that obsession of looking back at other photos, different photos, it's okay to appreciate pictures. Be like, oh my gosh, look at my little toned muscles. I don't know if like you're in like a travel sport or something. You're like, and now we work in a sedentary 8-hour job like us. It's gonna look a little bit different. But it's that like going back and constantly comparing yourself and obsessing over that. Additionally, continuously asking others for reassurance of how you look. This we can really just like unpack so much that comes from this, but looking for that constant external validation from others is another form of body checking. And as we're getting to the last one, I feel like this happens. We have a list and then we deter at the end, near the end of the list. But as we're going through this, it's not like you're a bad person if you do these things. These might
Right.
be things that you don't realize could be harmful to your mental health, from like a checking yourself, obsessing over different parts of your body that you just think are normal things to do, because so many people do these things. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's so normalized. But we want to just bring some light to this situation that these might not be the most healthy
Yeah. So you can like be like,
behaviors.
oh, I didn't realize that I do that, why I do that, and how it's impacting me. And then you get to on your own or with a therapist or a dietitian or whoever discuss like why and how and what that's doing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And our last one is comparing your body to other people's bodies or images slash videos you see online. I feel like this is one of the most popular ones, up there with like weighing yourself. It's just so easy to fall into that rabbit hole of seeing, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to look like this person, and you obsess over them. And
Hashtag body goals.
yep.
Yep.
So
Well, we have one last
yeah.
point on this that I want to mention, like on what this is before we get into why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, but a lot of the time we will like pick a certain body part that we are body checking when we're doing it over and over and over again. For whatever reason, again, we could totally unpack where that comes from. Like, why do you hate your thighs so much or whatever it is? But it usually is one or two, maybe more. It always depends, of course, but usually a very certain part of your body that you're trying to have that sense of control over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about why we do this. I kind of already gave it away, but it really does come back to that like sense of control. I think weighing ourselves is like an example we always talk about around here that really demonstrates this. We often weigh ourselves because we feel like if we know what that number is, we can be in control of it. That's going to make sure that we're being our healthiest version of ourselves, when we really don't have much control over that number on the scale. I mean, to a degree, yeah, of course we do have some, but those day-to-day fluctuations, or like how your bicep looks in the light on this day versus that day, like we don't have control over any of that. And so that like compulsive continuous checking of that is often more harmful than it is helpful in any way.
This, I was like, we've said the same exact thing before, or like something very similar, where the idea of trying to be more healthy is more harmful than, we go in with good intentions, but we could be harming ourselves.
Yep.
Which
That
is good to
is
fact check yourself slash just reflect.
Reflect. I think that should be like our motto. I think we have like 8 mottos at this point, but I think reflecting and unpacking is one of them.
Yes, yes. So let's get into, we've already kind of talked about why it's problematic, but let's get into the specifics if you want a nice list right now.
We're big into lists.
So the first one being, if we don't like something or like the way our body looks, feels, or fits in clothes, aka that checking point, because we're looking at something and criticizing that part, this can lead to thoughts of shame, anxiety, and guilt about our bodies. And this just really reinforces the idea that there's something wrong, quote unquote, with us, and we aren't doing enough to take care of ourselves, which is just not the case, because no one has the right body and no one has wrong bodies or like anything wrong with their body. There's so much more that go, this is just, we're like, when you, what's the phrase when you beat like a dead record? Is that it?
You just combine 2 different things. Be a dead record. It's broken record and beat a dead horse.
That makes sense.
Be a dead record. That's amazing.
Well, wait.
Oh man.
We're gonna beat the dead horse and we're gonna sound like a broken record.
Oh, it's so good.
What was I saying?
I don't even know.
That took all my brain power.
Did you hear my laugh? I'm gonna like regret when I have to like edit this episode and I hear that back.
I don't think we've ever heard that.
That was an appropriate reaction though, because that was hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you. What was I saying?
I don't
Just
know.
like there's nothing wrong with your like bodies.
Yeah.
It's health is much more than body type. That's literally it. Like we've been that's like another one of our mottos is like there's more to health than just your body. So when you get really down on yourself, those feelings of shame and anxiety and guilt just manifest, can harm your mental health, can harm your emotional health, which can affect your physical health, and we don't want that.
Yeah. Did you see my Instagram comments today?
No.
It's all about this. I'm talking about weight. So you always know how that goes.
Okay. I think I've seen it. Your videos are always the first one on my feeds because honestly,
and
I
stories too.
I have to make sure I like yours every day. But wait, what was your video today? I think I didn't like yesterday, so that's why my feed's a little bit messed up with the algorithm.
Well, you probably saw it on TikTok before. It was on like a week or 2 ago on TikTok. So that's how I do it. Mm-hmm. Little behind the scenes for you guys. It was about like how your weight is not your health, like they're not one and the same. And of course, this one guy's going hard. Actually, I had someone DM me, a really great follower DM me, and she was like, "Would you mind?"
A hater DMing you?
No, I don't get a lot of DMs. Usually, my DMs are very nice, but the comments are always where the shit show is. But anyway, one of my like really nice followers DM me, and she's like, "Would you mind like deleting some of these comments? Like they're like really harmful for those of us who are struggling. Like it's just hard to see." I was like, "Yeah, girl." So I went through on one of the videos that she was talking about and deleted all the bad ones because
you're doing a public service,
right? Like I'm here for you guys. Like
no, we're not. You're not here to like appease the haters and the trolls.
But on the other one, because they're related, it's actually on TikTok. Like the comment I replied to is from the first video.
Okay, because you've been doing a lot of replies to comments. I think that's why I'm getting them confused.
I've been getting some lately, finally, even though the TikTok algorithm is doing us dirty these days. But he is a surgical resident, so he was letting me know how, you know, obesity is just the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody. And I am killing people by saying that our weight is not equivalent to our health.
I've seen a couple healthcare professionals in your comments that have really big like superiority comments.
I had another one the other day. He was like, "I'm an ICU nurse, and what you're saying is so dangerous."
Yeah. No, okay, that one. We're getting sidetracked, but we're getting into this because I haven't talked to you about this.
Yeah.
She was like, it was such a good start where she was like, it's really hard to hear from like a thin person that like it's okay to like not care about your body. And you acknowledged your privilege. And I was like, look it up. Look at this
Yes.
is great.
Yes.
Let's acknowledge the privilege, but still address the issue. And then they just came back with this essay. And
I'm
I
like,
was
I'm
like,
so sorry that I was on your side.
you're literally agreeing. And people can never be happy. But yeah.
No, it's been crazy lately. All
Yeah.
the nurses and residents are
Coming after you.
they're
I
real
was like,
mad that I'm not promoting weight-centric healthcare.
it's so okay. That just triggered my memory. Now I know what you're talking. That I was like, because I remember I read that, but I read it as like weight neutral somehow, and I was like, what is Hannah's
Oh yeah, it's the all I want for Christmas is us to get rid of weight-centric healthcare. That one.
Okay.
And the comment was like, my doctor prescribed me Adipex and an 800
Oh
calorie
yes.
restriction.
Is that the new thing? Okay. We're just taking a complete detour. Maybe we
Adipex
should
is
just
not one of the new ones.
okay. What
I
is the
know
one?
all the deets. There's Wegovy,
Mindy.
there is Monjaro, and there's Ozempic.
Okay,
Those are the
Ozempic's the one I'm thinking
injectables
of.
that are all the rage right now.
Okay. We should do an episode on that.
We should. I know far too much about them. And I have lots of thoughts.
Okay. Future episode coming, guys.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, back to why it's problematic. So Emily talked about how like there's no wrong body. That's not a thing. We don't need to fix our bodies. But when we tie this into intuitive eating, when we are using, I say this all the time, when we're using an external piece of information like our body size, that makes it really tough to tune into our internal hunger and fullness cues, because we're letting like our body shape or size or whatever dictate when or how much or what types of foods we should be eating, instead of trusting our internal cues that will tell us that a lot more accurately. So it goes along the same lines as like calorie counting. That is also an external piece of information that tells you when, how much, and what you should eat. And of course, like there's no way that can exactly align with like your actual hunger and fullness signals that are biological hormonal responses to biochemical reactions in your body. Like there's no way that a number on the scale or MyFitnessPal can know what your hunger and fullness cues are.
No.
So if your goal is to be an intuitive eater, and like it's how do I say this? If your goal is to be an intuitive eater in like the way it's defined of like honoring hunger and fullness, which as we've said, it's a lot more than that, but at a very surface level definition, it's going to be near impossible to do that if you are doing these body checks and considering how your body looks to an extreme that takes away from tuning into your cues accurately.
Snaps to that.
I can feel the TikTok snippet coming right now, which I make myself. So
there we go.
Put a little flag in my head for that one.
Yeah, perfect. Some of the most common examples of body checking I wanted to talk about and why it's kind of problematic. And I know a lot of people will disagree. But examples of body checking in social media can include showing your body in a mirror in a mirror before what I eat in a day.
Good one.
Very common, because that just sets that, even if it's not your intention, it sets the example. Here's what I eat in a day. This is what I look like. And then we follow it with, this is what I eat. And what I eat kind of helps determine what I look like. What I eat in a day is our controversial topic. The best way to just do it is to not body check, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just don't
I have it in our upcoming episode list though. So we'll break down the whole topic of what I eat in a day is actually.
Yes. But
yeah, the body check is
a simple fix. A simple fix is to not show your body before you what you, because we don't. Okay.
Cool. Like you look like that by eating that. Cool.
Yeah.
Also, it's one day.
Yeah. And a lot of like very younger influential individuals will see it and they'll associate that with their mind. They're like, if I want to look like that person, this is what they're eating. I'm going to eat just like them. So let's not show our bodies before we do those videos in general. Next one is a lot of like, I swear it's every 2 to 3 weeks, a body check comes around. Potty check trend comes around. And it's really weird. And there's like either people like doing side profiles and showing off like their noses or like their eyes or like their facial structures or whatever it
Ooh,
is.
there was that one where like the mirror filter, like it shows like half your
Yep.
face
Yep.
duplicated. And so like
That's
people find like half their face doesn't match the other half, which mine's so asymmetrical. It's insane.
Same. Uh, that's actually a really great example because I feel like that was like one of the most recent ones. And oftentimes these features that are like people always go viral for, or like they have whatever the ideal is, are more like Eurocentric features. So people who might like POCs might have different type. I'm thinking of like one of the biggest ones I remember was like a nose one, and people always wanted like a cute little button nose. And like some people had like more like it wasn't like curved and small, it was like more straight and big. And they like got upset about it. They're like, oh my gosh. And I was like, it's because
It's just
the
different.
trend is literally catered toward one like demographic. And you don't need to look like that. Like genetically, you're gonna look different. That's completely okay. It's like the the beauty standards. Unfortunately, that's what it's catered to. But luckily, I feel like there's a lot more conversation around it. Like people are becoming a little bit more aware of like, oh, this is a body checking trend, and whatnot. One of the last most common examples that I see all the time, and I'm like, why
I love this one.
do we do this? Where people will like, it's always like they're lip syncing to a song or something, and then they'll like randomly like start pulling up parts of their shirt. And I'm like, you're body checking. You're
Right.
look, know that example, see notes before, continuously asking others for reassurance of how you look.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is that.
Yeah.
You're not asking, you're silently looking for that validation.
Non-verbally. Yeah.
Yeah. There was this one video, and I don't know anything about this individual, so like don't send any hate their way because I don't know anything about them, but I remember they were wearing this like tiny little crop top with low jeans, and they like were doing the lip sync, and then they like turned to the side and were like posing, and they were eating yogurt, I think. And they were trying to like double down that they weren't body checking. And I was like, let's look at like what is happening in the video. Oh, just like
By
if you're
definition, like
if you're called out by a decent amount of people, though, like if we look at the background, like what's their intent essentially? Like they're not like trolls, like they seem like genuine people. Maybe something isn't right here.
yes.
It was just such a wild. I remember I saw it and I was like, "What is happening here?" This
I
is
feel like I
besides.
don't get too many of those. I don't know what's going on with your For You page. I don't get
I
those
know.
as
I
much as
always
you
see
do.
the stitches of it.
Oh, okay. That
That's
makes more
how I see it.
sense.
Mhm. If I ever see the original, sometimes I'm like, "What is?"
I have never seen like on my For You page, like Addison Rae, Charlie, what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have never seen any of them ever.
No, I think their target audience is not.
No, the For You page is
I
very
think
good.
that it's yeah.
Like
It
how
knows
can
us a little too well.
right? Like how can Charlie, whatever her name is, have like what, like 100 some million
It's
followers
like 120 million.
and like never
But
be on my For You
also,
page?
I don't
That's
know if
good
it's
For You
been
page.
confirmed, but like I'm quite positive her family buys followers. Because if you look at like a lot
I've
of
heard
them,
that.
they're bots.
Yeah, whatever.
But like that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah, we tend to do that. Okay. Now that we know what I just forgot the word body checking is, it's like right there in front of me like 10 times. What it is, why we do it, why it's not so bueno. Let's go over why we need to stop doing it. Or nope, wrong. Let's go over how to stop doing it. Also, I guess why. Um, the first one might sound kind of silly, but we just first need to identify that's even happening. Like you may not even know that you're even doing it. Like Emily said a few times, some examples of like maybe you are making that video where most of your body is out and you're eating a certain food or whatever, and people call you out on it. That could be a good time to reflect and unpack, like we always say. Get curious. But anyway, the first step is to just identify that you're even doing it in the first place, because it does usually happen subconsciously, at least at first.
I want to add a little note here because I feel like sometimes people might think of like outfit checks. Outfit checks aren't body checking when you're like showing it off, unless like you start like pulling up your clothes
Exactly. It's the
and like
intent
things like
behind it.
that. Yeah, exactly that. Like you're allowed to like look in the mirror at yourself in an outfit.
Yeah, you don't have to like get rid of all your mirrors of this episode. Like you can still have
No.
your mirrors. You can still like try to like dress your body in a way that makes you feel good, and like put on makeup if you want to. Like,
Yeah, it's like the obsession behind it and the
yes.
intent and like how often we're doing it. But okay, so once you've identified it, you're like, oh, this might not be so great for me. Let's try to actively choose to stop doing it. So this is essentially like we've identified it happened. We're like, oh, let's slow your roll, brain. Let's put an
Let's
end to this
beat a dead record.
thing. Let's put an end to this activity. And this can be just like looking away from the mirror. This can be like setting down the tape, like just telling yourself like verbally out loud or internally to stop grabbing your thighs or your arms or your stomach. It doesn't mean like throw out your mirrors and throw out your measuring tapes and keep your like walk around with your hands away from your body. No, it's just like identify happens and take that small action will go a long ways.
Exactly. Exactly. And then from here, once we've like identified it, we've noticed it's happening, we've made a decision to stop doing it, we need to, in some cases, maybe like redirect our attention so we don't like just keep going back to it. Because, like we said, it can be like a subconscious compulsive thing that you're just so used to doing. You do it like every single day, maybe multiple times a day. And so it's going to be important now to like actively find something else to do with your brain, your hands, whatever's involved in that body checking habit. This could be a good spot if you're into affirmations, to include those. Like if you're like noticing that you're grabbing your arms, you're like, oh, I hate the way my arms look in this shirt. My arms are so gross and terrible and I am disgusting. Whatever your internal thoughts are there, it can help to quite literally like just flip that script and say more positive things like, oh, my arms are really strong. They help me carry my kids and carry the groceries. Saying those more positive things. I know it can sound to some people kind of fluffy and not helpful, but I'm a firm believer in these kind of things. They really can, like, when you're saying
Yeah.
different things to yourself, become like your actual reality.
It can go a long ways. It starts in the brain. It starts
Exactly.
internally and then will seep out.
Ew.
So then the more you do it, it's not going to get fixed overnight. So you just got to keep doing it over and over again. Be resilient with it. You don't have to be perfect. We just need to consciously be making those efforts whenever possible. And then it's also individual. It's also important, individual. It's also important to create a more positive environment for yourself. So do a social media detox. Check out the previous episode because we talked about how to do that. Rid your social media of those body checkers or just like even like people that don't intentionally body check, but you compare yourself to, they don't make you feel great. And then also just pay attention to the media that you consume. Like, is there a diversity in the body shapes, the races, the ethnicities, the whatever it is, like more related to like what you might compare to, like body wise, making sure that you're seeing a wide variety of individuals so that you're not just honing on one specific type and that's all you see on your phone or your computer. And then that's what you compare yourself to because that's just all you kind of create your own little bubble around. And from a other positive environment standpoint, if there are people that are really focused on body checking or compare themselves, or like maybe you even notice that some of your friends or loved ones or acquaintances or coworkers do this often, either removing yourself from a situation that makes you really uncomfortable, or if you're feeling a little bit more confrontational, you could also challenge your thoughts on that, or their thoughts on that as well, and kind of figuring out what makes you say that. Don't ask the why questions. That's something we learned in motivational interviewing 101, is why comes off as judgmental. So what makes you, what, how, what are other, what and how, what, like other ways to start a question besides why?
I mean, where, but that wouldn't really make sense here.
When?
Who?
Who?
Who do you think you are? That is definitely not judgmental at all.
No, but just creating a good environment for yourself to, as you work on yourself, you want to make sure you're not in a space online or physically with people that might inhibit some of your progress.
Yeah. We have an episode 2 on that also, like how to discuss intuitive eating and this type of thing as well, with those who may not be quite as in tune with it as you hopefully are becoming as a Tud Bud.
Tud buds.
Bottom line, body checking, you probably have done it to some degree if you're not still doing it. So it's going to be good to just, I think, be aware of it. It's kind of the goal of our episode today, is just bringing awareness to it so you know that it's happening. Of course, not trying to shame you, because like Emily and I said, we also did this. We still probably do from time to time in certain capacities. So it's not inherently like this devious thing that you're doing, but it may not be as helpful as you think it is. So it's going to be good to unpack why you're doing it and hopefully find better ways to, well, actually, no, I was gonna say better ways to like check yourself, but that's not what I want to say. Cause that's,
I mean, you could check yourself. Like,
maybe you should check yourself.
check yourself before you, like, hey, am I doing okay?
That's true. Okay. I did want to say that then. Check yourself, but in a different way, in a more positive way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Our bonus question, we're going to do part 2 from last week's episode. So last week we talked about what your preferred social media platform says about you. So if you prefer Snapchat, what kind of person are you in our eyes? So what did we do last week that we don't have to do today?
We did Snapchat, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook.
Okay.
I think we're doing TikTok, YouTube, and maybe Twitter/Pinterest.
Okay.
Twitter and Pinterest are going to be fast ones because I feel like we don't go there on there as much.
Yeah, Twitter, I have no idea. I just think of like Elon Musk these days.
I think of no, that's Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg. But yeah, Elon Musk is.
Let's just start there. That one will be fast because we don't really know much about it. Okay, Twitter. What does that say about you? If Twitter is your preferred.
If Twitter is your preferred social media, you love arguing with people, you live for the drama. You also enjoy, I think, detective work. If someone's like subtweeting something, you'll be like, oh, what is this actually about? But I think you mostly like to argue for fun, and you enjoy or observing people arguing as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how they would dress because that was apparently my thing last week.
They could just look like Elon Musk.
Yeah, whatever he wears.
I don't know what he wears.
I don't know what he wears. I can barely even picture his face. Okay, that's Twitter.
Yeah.
Pinterest.
Pinterest, you are incredibly creative and have the best imagination. You see things, why don't I know any of these phrases? I'm thinking of like the silver lining. What is the silver lining?
You see the silver lining.
There we go. You see the silver lining. Yes. And you might tend to romanticize situations that might not be as great as they seem.
I picture it's like, like 18, 19-year-old, like what's the like bohemian kind of style, like long blonde hair, butterfly clips, I don't know. If you're listening to this, just Google bohemian outfit, and that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
those boots that have like the tassels on them, the bag that has like the tassels.
Oh,
Here, you Google it. Look up bohemian. See what I'm talking
okay.
about.
You Google.
You
Okay.
Google it.
I'll do this with everyone. Everyone, look up this with me right now. Oh,
Yeah, like
I think of
the
like this is like 70s, 80s style, isn't it?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like the like flowy.
Like
Oh,
headband
there's
around your forehead.
yes, boho. That's what you're thinking of.
Yes, exactly.
Boho.
Boho just I think is bohemian.
Yes. Is that?
I think it's like an abbreviation for it or like
Oh,
a
I
short.
think you're definitely right. Yeah, but boho's just short. Yeah, and cute. Okay,
Okay,
I
that's
like it.
Twitter or that's Pinterest.
Let's end with TikToks. Let's do YouTube next.
Well, that's
If
you.
YouTube is your preferred source, this is me.
This is Ross too, of
You
course. Naturally.
if YouTube's your preferred source, I feel like people who watch YouTube are iPad babies. And what I mean by this is you need to watch something while you eat.
This is Ross. We have okay. You know those like standing phone chargers that like you just put your phone on and it charge. We have a ton of those, but one of them broke. So what we did, we cut the cord on it and we just like have it on our island so we can put our phone there. It doesn't charge it, but just like it holds our phone up so we can watch something while we eat. Because we have to always have something playing while we're eating when
Yeah.
Ross is there. I don't. I'm fine without it. But like
Right.
Ross has to always have a video playing while we're eating. And it's always YouTube. He pays for
Yeah.
YouTube Red.
Yes. But if you're YouTube preferred, you're an iPad baby. And I'm talking about myself right now. So
No hate.
we'll keep it real. You also prefer you have longer attention spans, depending on if you're watching shorts or not. We'll
That's
actually
true.
say that. You
Yeah,
have
now
a
that
little bit
shorts are a thing.
longer attention span.
But I feel like if YouTube's your preferred, you've been watching it for way longer than shorts have been around.
Yeah. I don't think
You
I
didn't
know
like
people
come because
watch
of the
YouTube
shorts.
shorts, but like I don't think that you're going to
That's
YouTube to
what got
watch.
them to YouTube. No.
No. Um, and I'm sure you also have a couple. I feel like you're also loyal. I don't Instagram you are loyal, but you're also probably loyal if you're on YouTube because YouTube's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like the subscribing feature on YouTube is much more meaningful than like
Oh yeah.
TikTok in my example. Like, because TikTok doesn't show videos to
No.
your
How can I
followers.
have 50,000 followers and get 200 views per video? Like,
It doesn't make sense. It's not the math is not mathing you.
no.
TikTok. Like put it on their For You page, whatever. But anyway, you get like notifications, you get like all the things about like who you follow. So, but I think your biggest flaw is you're an iPad baby. At
Yeah.
my old job, I would always for breakfast and lunch, I'd always like watch this one specific YouTuber while I ate breakfast and lunch. And it was like I would get upset when people wanted to eat with me.
Okay. I do
Because
get that sometimes. Yeah.
I was like, you have your meal and you're excited to just zone out
Yeah.
and watch your little video. And then people are like, they like come and interrupt your lunch. And I'm like, this is
Yes.
my time. Like, not even from a YouTube
Yes.
standpoint, like, we should make a petition. If someone's on their lunch break, do not talk to them
I know.
unless they're like your best friend at work. Then maybe you're like you can hop
Yes,
in.
that's
But
true. Like the girls I work with, like we usually will eat lunch together, but like if it was anyone else, I'd be like, no, I don't want to talk
no,
to you.
yeah, there are some
'Cause
people
it's
I'm
just
like,
like it causes more stress. Like lunch should be the time that you get to decompress if you work a 9 to 5, which
yes,
I can do that with the girls, but with some other people, I can't. It's just more
no,
stressful.
no,
So you have to like put an effort in to talk to them.
yeah. And you don't want to do that on your break.
Not as a dietitian. That's the whole that's what you do all day is put effort in talking to people. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. You're putting on a show for like 9 hours a day. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you and Ross dress very differently.
I was gonna say,
So I'm not quite sure how to say what they wear, but Ross's uniform is a pair of sport shorts and a plain t-shirt. So I guess that's the iPad kid uniform.
that's iPad. Yeah. Yeah.
And ankle socks and slides.
There we go.
Is Adidas slides.
Yeah. Low maintenance.
Very low
There we
maintenance.
go. Let's talk about TikTok.
This
If
one,
TikTok's your preferred choice, which I know it is a lot of people's preferred
yeah.
choice. One, we're just going right off the bat, you have a short attention span. Like, as two individuals who also consume media on TikTok, like, you have a short attention span. Videos are just shorter. You can manage your emotions well because of what is thrown at you. And this might be
Yes.
specifically more me to like my For You page, because like I don't know your For You page, but like it can go from like, oh my gosh, look at this recipe and look how good this looks, to like my dog died, to like,
It cannot be good.
Are
for
you
us.
autistic? Like,
It's not good.
you're all over the place. Like, and it's backed up. You're just, you have to process information so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's such drastic levels of intensity. That's not good for our health.
It's not good. I will be like crying at one video, just swipe past it, and boom, I'm like not sad anymore.
No. Or you, yeah. Yeah.
What?
It's, no. It can't be good for any of our mental health.
No,
but
it's really bad.
If TikTok's your preferred source, you can process emotions very quickly. Your brain's probably forced to because of what you're consuming. You have short attention spans. You're probably, I was about to say you're probably funny, but like I'm not stating that, because I've seen non-funny sides of TikTok who think they're funny. But you're more trendy. We'll say that you're up with the trends a little bit more. You probably enjoy a little bit of drama, because TikTok comment sections are, I feel like, half the reason people have TikTok.
For sure.
Because people are funny in there. You probably have a very niche For You page, and you don't really like any of the other social medias because they don't know you quite as well as TikTok has figured you out.
That is one very impressive thing about TikTok. Like Instagram could never do that.
No,
like
no,
my Instagram like reels page, not that I ever go on it, sometimes like when I post a reel it will like put me on the reels page, so I'll see some posts there. It's always like the basic wellness culture stuff that I would never post. It's always like seed oils are terrible, here's how you lose 10 pounds, don't use candles, they're going to kill you and your family because they're toxic. Like Instagram, do you assess my content at all, or do you just like, apparently not, because I put it on the pages of residents and nurses who are
that's
very
true.
weight centric.
It's not, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I
That's
feel
why
like
it's impossible to grow.
our TikTok like distributing algorithm is much better than Instagram.
Yeah,
despite the weird view things happening at recently, but like
I don't know
the people it's getting sent to, I feel like is hitting a little bit better than Instagram's been a dumpster fire recently. I feel like
I've been getting so many more views, but it's the wrong people.
Yes. Yeah. They need to figure it out.
It's making it really hard to do this as a job.
Yes. They're not like helping the people that want to use it, like as that.
Right.
To keep people on their platform. Like, don't you want anyway, get me in a room with Mark Zuckerberg, please. I know. This is a petition right here.
Speaking of attention spans, I was on my laptop today logging into TikTok, and I could post 10-minute TikToks on my laptop.
What?
Yeah. I've like heard about it, but I didn't know I had that feature.
Yeah.
I guess you can do it, or at least I can from my laptop.
Dang. I don't think I ever want to watch a 10-minute TikTok.
I've never seen them. So I'm like, if I posted that, who would see that? Where does it go?
I feel like that wouldn't do well on that
No,
platform.
that's the
Like the
wrong
three
platform. That's
minute
YouTube.
ones barely do.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, like you have to really have a good video for it to be like, I feel like a minute and a half is like the longest I've seen like success
Yeah.
with. And
I'm
even
trying to
then,
think.
like,
I think the
but
longest one I've had go viral is like a little less than a minute.
yeah,
But you have to like have some really good hooks in there, or else they're not gonna stick around.
keep
Yeah.
them around.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I'm just like talking about a topic, it is for my community who's already there. It is not to get views.
No, no. So what did the
Oh,
TikTokers,
oh, I don't know.
TikTokers?
I do feel like it is mostly the Gen Z who are doing like the low rise and like I don't know what kind of shoes do the
Well,
Gen Z
the
wear.
mini Uggs are coming back in.
That's true. The mini Uggs,
The big New Balances.
which I bought some of those. I'm loving them. Crop top, low rise jeans, absolutely not skinny jeans. Middle part. I don't know. What kind of hair do they have? They.
We're half Gen Z.
I know.
I feel like it's a lot of like middle parts and like wavy hair.
Oh, the
They're go.
Dyson,
Oh
like
yeah,
the
yes,
blowout. Yeah.
yeah,
The Jennifer Aniston hair.
yeah.
Okay. That's what they're
There we
wearing.
go. So that's what your social media preference says about you. Let us know if we were
Why?
completely incorrect.
Yeah, I don't know what our purpose was doing this. It's very off
No,
the wall, but
no. We're dipping into like the horoscope, like or like the
ooh,
personality test.
I've been really
What?
into that lately. Not that I understand it fully, but it's usually pretty accurate. I know there's like a whole idea of like you like believe it to be true just because you want it to be true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Some of those like things that you'll share on your stories, I'll click on it and go find mine. And I'm like, oh wow,
Yeah.
it's not wrong.
Yeah. Go listen to the social media detox episode. We're gonna link it in the description. It'll also be on the website in the show notes. Go listen to the intuitive eating episode for like if you're with skeptical family or friends, if you're in a situation where it might not be as welcome, and let us know your opinions on personalities and clothing
Yeah.
with your social media.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up now before we get into a whole new topic and keep you guys
Yes.
here for another 30 minutes.
All right. Bye,
Okay. Thanks for
guys.
listening. Bye guys. Thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians with your host, Emily Krause and Hannah Thompson.
We appreciate you all so much for continuing to support us. In order to support us and sustain the success of this podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review.
If you'd like to provide us feedback for future episodes and guest stars, follow us on Instagram at the Up-Beet Dietitians.
Lastly, you can show us support by providing a monthly donation using the link at the end of our bio.
Once again, thank you so much for listening today and stay tuned next Wednesday for a new episode. Until then, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.